As college football becomes more popular and mainstream, college football leaders are trying to make their programs more and more fun and give their fans the best experience possible. One way in which you can do that is by improving the game day experience, and that comes with a better stadium or just a new stadium in general. As we look forward to the 2024 college football season, there are a couple of schools who are making very splashy and awesome stadium changes, or if you're South Florida, building a new stadium entirely to try to eventually work your way up to a Power 5 conference and improve your overall brand image. In today's video, I'm going to take a risk, as it probably won't get a ton of views, and talk about 10 crazy stadium changes that are coming to a college football program near you. We're going to go through the project, what they're going to be doing, and how it could potentially look. I think it'll be pretty enjoyable, and definitely a change of direction from what I typically do on the channel, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you love college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you support today's video, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I could cover next. Now let's get started and talk about 10 major stadium changes coming to college football. Okay, so the first stadium we're going to talk about is my team, the Missouri Tigers. In April, the Missouri Board of Curators approved a massive $250 million renovation to Memorial Stadium. It's supposed to be done around 2026, which conveniently is its 100th anniversary. It's going to completely overhaul the north end zone of the stadium, as well as provide some changes to the rest of the stadium itself. The Bunker Club in the south end zone is going to be converted into a recruiting center, and places like restrooms, concession stands, and sound systems are also going to be getting upgrades. But the main upgrade is to the north end zone, which is going to be more enclosed and add a bunch of new premium seats. There will apparently be 600 box seats, 260 club seats, 51 suites, and this also includes 28 cabana-style Tiger dens. There will also be 14 field-level suites, which increases its capacity from 63,000 to about 65,000 fans. Thankfully, the Rock M and the grass-covered hill are still staying, but honestly, this looks like a really cool addition right when Mizzou is trying to elevate their brand even more in the SEC. As a Tigers fan myself, I'm pretty excited for this, and it feels like it's going to be even more fun to attend a game. Number 2 is we need to talk about the USF Bowls. USF has desperately needed an on-campus stadium for a while, and a lot of people believe that lack of having a stadium hurt them in terms of getting into the Big 12 and the ACC. Those conferences expanded, and USF became an afterthought. Part of that to me is also their poor on-field results, and they announced last year that they were to go ahead and build a $340 million stadium and a new one for 2027. The sketches look great, and while they've been playing at the Buccaneers Stadium, their new 35,000 seat stadium will have an open concourse and a huge tailgating area, plus a walkway leading into the entrance where some vendors can set up for people walking into the stadium for a game. They spend a lot of time asking people and students what they would want and what they also wouldn't want. It feels like they're trying to make it as good as they can, and they're using it as a diving board to try to change the perception of the area. USF has had its days, but honestly they have fallen off a bit, and after they got passed over in conference expansion, USF's going to try to build a new stadium, become flashy, get recruits, and take advantage of a hot recruiting area. Florida has a tremendous amount of talent, and hopefully Alex Golesh will continue to build a program that could fill the entirety of the stadium. Number 3 is SMU. When SMU got accepted into the ACC, a lot of people pointed out that their stadium was actually pretty old and small. But in 2022, they had already started planning on expanding their south end zone with a $100 million gift from a certain alum. This will have 3 levels, a new locker room, weight rooms, position-specific meeting rooms, and an auditorium for the football program. Honestly, this is basic stuff for power conference teams, so it'll be good that SMU is finally getting this. For the longest time, the south end zone has been very open, so they're going to try to enclose it from a horseshoe to a bowl. They've been building it since 2022, and it's supposed to be done and ready for the 2024 season as they head into their new era. Obviously, the money coming into the program was the whole reason they ended up in the ACC to begin with, so it's going to be interesting to see where SMU will go from here and what the brand new south end zone will look like. At number 4, we have the Kansas Jayhawks. KU released renderings for a new football stadium before this past year started and got to work on it immediately after the season ended. This created a really interesting situation where a team called Kansas will have to actually play a few games in Arrowhead Stadium, which is located in Missouri. While I know a ton of Mizzou fans are giving them flack for this, honestly I actually think it'll be pretty cool, and the new stadium just won't be ready in time for them. Their old stadium, David Booth, was notorious in the Big 12 for being the worst in the conference and potentially the worst in the country, but now as Kansas is actually getting good under Lance Leipold, they decided to rebuild the stadium with a new design that is reminiscent and inspired by Allen Fieldhouse. The new stadium costs $300 million and actually shrinks in capacity from about 50 to 40,000 fans. The stadium will be much nicer itself, and around the stadium there'll be a gateway district. It's supposed to include meeting and retail space, and maybe a hotel or student apartments. Honestly, that'll be pretty cool, and I might have to catch a game at Kansas at some point. And number 5, we have Northwestern. Like KU, Northwestern is going to be without an on-campus stadium for a little bit. Instead, they're going to choose to play some games at the Bears Stadium in Chicago or on some sort of lakeside stadium at their practice facility. In 2021, they got a huge gift, and that was supposed to go towards rebuilding Ryan Field. They started that work this year, and the new stadium will feature views of the nearby environment and have a maximum capacity of about 35,000 fans. It'll also have a canopy that hangs over fans and a whole bunch of outside stadium things like community spaces and a park. Pat Ryan of Northwestern's Ryan family said, quote, "The new Ryan Field will be more than just an amazing home for Wildcat football. Our hope is that through the new stadium changes, Ryan Field is reimagined and is an architecturally significant year-round gathering space for both Northwestern and the Evanston community. It'll be accessible to all. I've also heard that there'll be plenty of concerts there, and just like all these other schools, Northwestern's trying to take advantage of the football boom and upgrade their old facilities." At number 6, we have Penn State. In May of last year, Penn State announced a massive $700 million renovation to Beaver Stadium. It's supposed to be completed around 2027, and the hope for the renovation would be to modernize the stadium since it is one of the oldest in the country. The design for the new stadium is supposed to come out here soon, but considering the fact that most of these other projects are only $200 or $300 million, the fact they're spending $700 million is kind of insane. Especially considering the main push for this is so it can be better used in the wintertime, I guess while Penn State could potentially host games in the playoff. Considering issues with water in the winter, this is one of those situations to keep an eye on because the new Beaver Stadium could be incredible. I mean, imagine Penn State maybe playing in a retractable dome or something like that. At number 7, we have Nebraska. Despite being pushed back to start in 2025, Nebraska is going to start their $450 million renovation on Memorial Stadium here soon. The first part of the renovations is adding chairback seats to the lower bowl, which really isn't all that interesting. But Nebraska is also planning on making the main level concourse go 360 degrees around the stadium, as well as another concourse in the upper level that almost goes the entire way around the stadium. There will also be some improvements to the south end zone, and they're going to fix the stadium Wi-Fi apparently. The main reason for improving the stadium isn't just for the fans though, as according to their new AD Troy Dannon, he said, quote, "Urgency is not the right word, but there's a demand to make sure we can support the cost of college athletics moving forward. So it's a high priority, and we have to find a way to drive revenue." At number 8, we have Texas State. Given the amount of big-time college football programs in Texas, and the fact that Texas State is the only Texas school in the Sun Belt, it makes sense that the Bobcats are renovating Bobcat Stadium to try and stand out more. Last year, they announced a $37 million renovation plan that will add a new weight room, a physical therapy center, a recruiting room, and a couple of other things, and this will be done by this upcoming year. Part of those renovations were also recently revealed to be a name change of the stadium from Bobcat Stadium to UFCU Stadium. This is going to increase sponsorship revenue for Texas State, and it's pretty clear they want to be the Texas Sun Belt team. It honestly makes sense, as they now join a 16-team conference that recently added James Madison, Marshall, Southern Miss, and Old Dominion last year. Honestly, this could be pretty cool, as we've already seen some Texas schools take a step up, especially looking at UTSA and Houston. And right now, they're trying to be one of the top-tier stadiums in the Group of 5. With head coach G.J. Kinney elevating the program, they might be able to put themselves in that conversation, and the Bobcats could be a fun little team to watch or a great place to catch a game at some point. Before we get to our final two, be sure to hit that like button and let me know if there's a stadium renovation I missed or a crazy topic I could cover in my next video. Memphis, just like USF, was snubbed out of conference expansion. Honestly, I thought it was a crime, as they have had good football and good basketball, and are located in Tennessee, so it could have made sense for both the Big 12 and the ACC. A big part of the reason was their football stadium, and that's known as the Liberty Bowl. It was off campus and in terrible shape. They can't exactly build an on-campus stadium, so they're going to try to make the Liberty Bowl as good as it can be. In Phase 1, which has already started and is supposed to be done before the season, they're working on a media deck and a game day operations area. In Phase 2, Memphis will work on the outside part of the stadium to make it look better and add more premium seats. They also want to create a, quote, party plaza area for all the fans and begin initial perimeter and halo upgrades to create a hospitality space around the stadium. In Phase 3, they're going to upgrade the locker rooms and add more to the concourse area around the stadium. The Liberty Bowl has a lot of work to do, and Memphis will have to continue playing well if they ever want to get an invite to the Power 5 level. Finally, at number 10, we have Boise State. A couple years ago, Boise State had some people thinking they're going to be joining the Big 12. They had a secret announcement to make, but it ended up being a stadium renovation. While some were disappointed, Albertson Stadium is part of the push for an entirely new athletics complex for the Boise State Broncos. For the football stadium, the new renovations will include a concourse that goes around the entirety of the stadium, and an entirely new field-level concourse with new bathrooms, concession stands, and new entrances. They're also creating an entirely new football operations complex with the goal to get to above 40,000 in capacity. It's pretty clear that the reason Boise State is making these changes to its football stadium is to hopefully make them attractive enough for the Big 12 or the new Pac-12. What those conferences are asking for are Power 4 level in quality, and Boise State is hoping to make that happen, and in my opinion, they also need to improve their academics if they want to get up to that Power 4 level. The blue field is already cool enough, and so imagine an even more modernized and hype stadium. That'll be fun to watch. Honestly, today's video was very different. We talked about 10 programs that are making stadium changes, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what project you are most looking forward to seeing, and also before you go, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen, including my video about Missouri State going to the FBS level. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.